All right, today I'm going to be looking over an artist edition, or more so, a gallery edition. Right over here, gallery edition. Gallery edition. And this is for the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 1 by America's Best Comics. It says vertical over here. I'm not sure why it says vertical. My first time hearing about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was when Wildstorm started doing homage comics. So there was like a few titles that Alan Moore was writing on. But just the artwork spotlights Kevin O'Neill's work. So here's the front cover. Okay. Here's a spine by, I don't know if this is vertical, graffiti. Okay, Kevin O'Neill, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't know if you guys see that in yellow, Volume 1. Here's the back. Here's how the back looks. Graffiti designs, Kevin O'Neill, Gallery Edition. And then now we're going to take a look at some of the interior pages. Okay, before we look at some of the interior pages, I'm going to do a little bit of self-promotion, and at the same time you can see the size of this gallery edition. This is one of my books that I worked on, Deadpool, by Joe Kelly, the Complete Collection Volume 2. That's a regular comic book size, and this is how big an artist edition. So this book is, when I was working on Deadpool, you can see my name right over here. Where's my name? I don't know where it is. Right over here, one of the inkers, Walden Wong. That's me right over here. So if you're interested in getting one of these, it's out in stores now. So check it out. You can order it anywhere in good comic book stores, your local comic book store. You can order it online. Here's the spine. Here is the back. And here's the UPC logo. I'll also add Amazon links to the bottom of the video description. So if you want to order something from Amazon, the same book. This is when I was working with Pete Woods, inking Deadpool, one of my first regular series that I worked on. So that's Deadpool. This is my work over here. So again, order it underneath the Amazon. Actually, order it underneath the video description to get one of these books that I worked on. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at the artist edition, gallery edition of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen by Kevin O'Neill. As of me making this video, Kevin O'Neill passed away just a few weeks ago. So dedicate this video to him. Let's see what this says. The British Empire has always encountered difficulty in distinguishing between its heroes and its monsters. Captain Bond from Memoirs of an English Intelligence, made since 1908. Okay, let me turn on the spotlight. See everything a little bit more clear. There's no gloss. Kevin O'Neill's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 1, Gallery Edition, Graffiti Designs. So, those of you who are landing on my channel and you're just looking at this and you don't know who I am, my name is Walden Wong. I'm a comic book artist for Marvel and DC Comics. I also do work for Dark Horse, Image Comics, Viz Media, a lot of different comic book publishers out there, Disney, Adventures, and so forth. To learn more about me, these are all the volume. Actually, these are all the Alan Moore's a writer, letter by William Oakley, art by Kevin O'Neill, and these are the volume. These are issue numbers: issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's pretty good. If they have all the pages, you can actually read the first 6 issues in this gallery edition. So that's good. So nothing is missing. Okay, so yeah, so again, my name is Walden Wong. If you want to learn more about me and my work in comics, I've been a comic book artist for a good 20-something years. If you want to learn more about me, my website is waldenwongart.com. And over on my website, you can find out a lot of different things of my work. You can also look at a gallery. You can look at other videos, a blog, images, new section of what books that I'm working on that's coming out. You can also order books that I've worked on my big Amazon yellow orange link that's on the front of my website. And if you enjoy this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the subscribe button, hit like, and share the video. The more people that looks at my video, the more people will enjoy it, and I'd be able to make more of these videos for you. So this was the art edition. Again, if you want to show support in me making these videos, you can support my channel by going over to my Patreon page, and I have different tiers of showing support. So my Patreon page is patreon.com/Walden Wong Art, and on there, on the bottom of my video description of this video, I'll add links to this. So let's talk about Kevin O'Neill's artwork of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Everything looks like it's inked with a pen. Doesn't seem like it's inked with a quill. Everything has the same thickness. If there's line weights, it's built up upon it, so it doesn't look like it's inked with a brush. Maybe a brush used to fill in the black areas. But the art is amazing. So me being a comic book inker myself, I see a lot of things that I would do differently on the line work, but the art here is amazing. This would be a case where you don't really worry about the line quality, show foreground, background, or middle ground. Just draw it. Kevin O'Neill just draws it, and then after drawing it, colors would figure out how to separate the foreground, middle ground, and background. Okay, a lot of detail work. Kind of reminds me of Mobius work. Okay, they also, after this comic book graphic novel was made, they also made a movie under the same name, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So if you're interested in watching that movie, and then coming back and watching my video here to see if everything kind of matches. Now, I'm going to flip through the artwork and talk about the artwork, but if I'm going too fast and you want to read the artwork in this video, feel free to pause the video and then you can read it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in closer. Okay, we're going to look at all the artwork. So Kevin O'Neill was the artist. It seems like he penciled and inked it. Probably just inked it and draw in inks as he went. I don't see any pencil marks underneath the drawing. This is that Edward, that big monster in the movie. I actually didn't read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen myself. My first exposure to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was watching the movie first. I remember being very excited because that movie was one of the earlier movies, and it was a comic book related movie. It wasn't like today where there's like comic book movies and comic book TV shows everywhere. In the beginning, when there was when comic book movies were coming out, it was far and few in between. Okay, this kind of reminds, this hand here kind of reminds me of Simon Beasley's work. There's a little bit of Simon Beasley-ish over there. I'm going to look at the rest. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like everything is just inked with one pen. Could be a ballpoint pen that he's using, or maybe the same marker. Doesn't look like he's using different thickness to his line work. Everything looks flat. When I say flat, what I mean is the line work. It's not like there's certain areas that are thicker lines and certain areas that are thinner lines, but it still works. Everything's that same quality. Some areas I could tell that he's going back in there with his pen and then doubling up the lines, which is something that I also do when I'm inking with a quill or when I'm inking with a micron or brush. If the line's not thick enough, instead of switching to a thicker pen, what I'll do is I'll draw two lines and then I'll fill it in between just to make that line a little bit thicker. But if you're doing such detailed work, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to draw in a double line and then filling it in. Okay, so these artist edition and gallery editions, they're printed in the larger 11 by 17 or bigger, so you can see some of the original art before it was published. When stuff is published, usually an artist would, or I don't know what year this was made. As I'm speaking for myself, when I'm done inking a page for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, or whatever publisher, I'll scan it in 600 dpi. After I scan it in full color 600 dpi, I'll convert it into black and white grayscale, and then I'll do some post-production on it, where if some of the inks were kind of grayish, then I'll go there and darken it up to make it really dark on Photoshop. If it's kind of muddy over there, I'll use the contrast and adjust to remove some of that, or I'll use the levels in Photoshop to remove some of that. That's why printed work is a little bit cleaner. But these artist edition and gallery edition, and what the printer want to do is to show readers how the work looks before all of that post-production work is done. Here's some of the monsters. Okay, so if I was inking this is nice. Like, I can actually sit here or stand here or whatever, and I can look at this page for a very long time because there's so much going on. You see there's someone crawling, there's a person running with a knife. You go over on this side, there's like Chinese characters. This shows a different time period during the story that was written here. Just people bringing bags and people's fighting over here. Then we go here, there's all these backgrounds, the water, Kevin O'Neill's signature, America's Best Comics, and we see this outfit, the girl's just twisting around. The dragon, see, if I was inking this, I would make the outline, the holding line, I call it the holding line, a little bit thicker. Okay, I'm going to continue looking at the rest of them. Now, if you're a viewer who's watching this and then you think that I should talk about more of the artwork and the layouts, I can, but I figure it's more fun to look at the detail and then not critique or review a professional artist's work, especially if they're like a legendary artist that's been doing the work way before Alan Moore's signature, Kevin O'Neill's signature, right over here, Kevin O'Neill's signature and Alan Moore's signature. Like, usually I'll critique some work when it stands out, and then with legendary artists, I try to respect the art, even though if there's something that I see that's a little bit different, I try not to critique the work, unless there's something that I would say I would do differently compared to another artist, because every artist has their own technique. Okay, these are, I think these are characters. I can't read Chinese. I can't read Japanese, even though I have the last surname of Chinese, doesn't mean I know how to read it. I'm born here, born in the USA. I'm going to continue looking at some of the other artwork here. Okay, the bows back then, the artists who worked on this knows that some of the decorations on the bows were like have artwork on them. I don't know why these characters here. I don't know if Shenyan Barber and everything is in English, and all of a sudden you have them speaking in Chinese or Japanese or whatever. I think they're Chinese. They're speaking Chinese and just carving. I know it's Chinese because there's a Q over here back then. But as a reader, how would you know what they're saying? Don't you want to know what they're saying? These are those burning stuff. Okay, and then it looks, or it makes me wonder if they're random Chinese texts, like random Chinese characters, or if they really mean something. Okay, see, I don't know how to read any of them. This, I know a little bit of the word, like this one's okay, and the rest I don't really know what it means. Okay, yeah, I wonder if the book was done, if there was a glossary in the back that explains what they're saying. They should put a little footnote underneath the panel so readers will know what they're saying. Okay, here's some of the art here. This is the invisible guy. There's no head, no hands. Very intricate work. There's a background over here, but it's coming out of the mouth. Looks like he's breathing, like taking deep breaths, thinking about it. I like to adjust the position of that. Here's some of this character. I remember them from the movie. Okay, very nice, very nice. So Alan Moore is one of the most prolific writers in comic books. He wrote like a really, what is that most popular book that he wrote on? Did he write Watchmen? Comment down below if you know what other books Alan Moore wrote. I think he also wrote Watchmen. He also worked on a lot of America's Best Comics. America's Best Comics was part of Wildstorm's imprint when Wildstorm was part of Image Comics. Before Wildstorm was purchased by DC Comics. Jim Lee owned Wildstorm, and then Jim Lee's the artist that worked on X-Men when he was at Marvel. He branched out of Marvel and created his own company, Image, with Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Valentino, Eric Larson, Willis Paraccio, and all that. And then each of them had their own studio, and each of their own studio, they started making their own imprint to separate Wildstorm, America's Best Comic, and so forth. Okay, oh, there's a vellum tracing paper here. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, cover grid with all series marks up for brands of orange and white. I don't even know what that means. Cover grid with all sizes marked up for bands of orange and white. Printing size cover guide. Okay, so they're just taking the logo and just put it on top of this instead of, okay, I see what they're doing. Put it where it fits. So some of the other artwork where you'll see them doing paste ups. Let me see if we see some of this in the back or in the front. The cover, they respected the artist and not take the printed text to glue stick on top, so it doesn't mess up the original painted artwork right over here. Well, that's very respectful. That was good. I like that decision in doing this. Okay, we'll look at this. Captain Nemo. That's right. That was what his name is. That's Captain Nemo. Okay, the Extraordinary Gentleman. We'll look at this. Gods of Annihilation. Yeah, if being an inker myself, being a comic book artist that looks at the comic book work and everyone else's work and studying them, I would like some of the art to have more depth, foreground, middle ground, background, because the lines are the same line weight throughout. So I know this relies on the colors a lot to separate values, to separate distance from what's in the foreground, background, and middle ground. And let's see, it's interesting. Now I'm looking at the artwork here. These are scans of the original artwork because they're a little bit yellowish. I don't think these are scans of the original art. I think they're just, I believe these are the actual scan files, and they're just using the files. That's why they're so clean. So these aren't the original scan artwork like this, where you can see like some of the lines that are drawn across for the lettering, some of the white out in between. These are just pure black and white. These are just a solid one black. The black value of this is all the same compared to the black value of these images. There's different values on this black. Okay. So in making this book, they probably had majority of the books in the front that had the original art, and then as they get to certain issues that they didn't have the original art, it looks like they just use scans to print the book. Okay, here's this. And again, feel free to pause the video if I'm going too fast. Yeah, I rather look at the original art instead of just scans that were post-production adjusted already. Like all these are too clean. Like it's very clean. I for myself, being an artist, I do like seeing artwork that's more like this, like the original art. Okay, I can see some of the line strokes, some of the directions of the line that was drawn, because it was a little bit yellow. It shows me a little bit more info as an artist myself. But when I look like this one, I can tell that what was done here. But when I look at this one, these are very clean. It just looks like a printed black and white comic book, as opposed to scans of the as opposed to full color scans of the original artwork. It looks like there's a little bit okay here. Okay. Or it could be whoever's scanning this is doing a little bit of post-production work. Or rather, they just scan it and just kept it at the same resolution and not do any level adjustment or contrast adjustment. Okay, there's a little bit of yellowish here. Yeah, it looks like whoever's scanning it is doing some kind of work to it. There we go. We see the paste ups. Okay, now we're getting back. Okay, I can tell the difference between this one. This one, you can't see the paste ups. Okay, but this one you can. You see these rectangle paper over here? They kind of, there's a shadow around the edge. This one doesn't have any shadow. It could be hand lettered. Let's see if this was hand lettered in the front. Okay, are they hand lettered or are they used with? No. Some of these are hand lettered. Yeah, I see the lines over here. These ones doesn't have the lines, so it was cleaned up a little bit. Delete the font. If I was lettering and I saw something like that, I wouldn't appreciate that because some of those letters are touching each other. I would give it more of a space. Okay, I know how there's so much letters here that you have to squeeze them closer together. Just make the font a little bit smaller. This O here looks like a big O instead of a small O. Anyway, enough about the lettering. Holly Griffin, 5-inch, some deep organizing power. Oh, look how nice this is. All the detail and shadow and grace values are on the side, and you leave everything white. It looks like water is like spushing out here. We're gonna take a look at this. Some shadow rendering. Here. These pages towards issue 5, they're a little bit, just when I was about to say is a little bit more, less in detail. We come back to more details over here. Look at that, fingers all mangled up. Let me see if I can do that. How this fingernail is on the top, but it's twisted backwards. Does that mean it's going backwards and it's flipped over? Could be. Okay, I do like the shadows here. I do like how the shadows are placed there. Also, the shadow and the grayscale on the back of the wheel, it gives it more depth. Even if there's no line width there, that gives value and pushes it to the front, just pushes it to the back. Okay, we want to look at the rest here. Now, if you wanted to buy this, you can order this in the secondary market, or some comic book stores will still have it. If they have this on Amazon, I'll add Amazon links below the video description. So if you want to order it there, check out the links below. If you want to order my book that I showed you earlier, which was this one, I'll also add Amazon links there, so you can order that. And underneath the video description, there's my website, as well as a link to all the comic books that I've worked on for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Image Comics, and so forth. If you order any books that I've worked on and using my links, you're just using your regular Amazon account to order, but I get a little bit of commission because of the use of the links. So thank you very much for that. And if you enjoy these videos and you like to show a little bit of support of me making these videos for you, you can check out my Patreon page. Over on my Patreon, I have a few different tiers of showing support. I also do mentorship. So if you're an artist, especially an aspiring artist that wants to work in comics, or if you want to draw art a little bit better, check out my Patreon. There's a mentorship tier that you can subscribe to, and I can also look at your work and check out your work. I'm also an art teacher for the Academy of Art University, so I know my way around artwork a little bit. It doesn't have to be pen and ink, drawing, inking. I also can critique pencil work, lettering work, coloring work, painting, acrylics, and watercolors, and so forth. I also do some videos on, if you look at some of my videos, you'll see me doing art demos on watercolors and painting and all that fun stuff, lettering and pen and coloring on a computer and so forth. Okay, here's this paste up. And if you want to learn more about me, I have my own website. It's waldenwongart.com, all one word. And there's different links that you can choose. There's also a link on the top left on my website where you can see all the social media links that I have. So you can click onto each one of those. So if you have one of the social medias, you can follow me there. And after you follow me, I will just post stuff regularly, as often as I can. I also post stuff on my website. On my website, there's a gallery, there's a shop, there's video links that you can also watch. So check that out. And if you're interested in buying some of the original art that's this size from me, I also have a shop on my website that you can order from. The shop that I have, original art, they're one-of-kind original art that's used for printing comic books that I've worked on for Marvel and DC Comics, as well as other publishers. And there's also commission pieces that are not published. You can also order some of those there. There's also a print shop where you can order prints that I've worked on. And then get those shipped to you if you want, anywhere in the world. So again, check out my website. It's waldenwongart.com. We're coming towards the end of this volume. Very detailed work, very nice. Okay, as an artist, I'll probably, after this video, I'm gonna look at it more in detail. Like really, the amount of time it takes to draw something like this is probably, to pencil and ink something like this, is probably 20 something hours a page. That's how long it takes to make something like this. To look at it, I would actually sit there and spend more time to look at every detail. Because I'm an inker by profession, I actually look at every line work, like how it's done. And then when I'm looking at that, I'm absorbing the technique so I can improve my skill in art a little bit better in the future. So here's this. The book does snap. It does crack when I'm turning pages. So that tells me there's an issue with the binding. You hear that crack when I just turn the page? We'll do it again. Listen to that. Like that. So it's the sewn binding. If they add more stitches in between and closer to the edge, that won't happen. There's just a lot of free space. That's why that's doing that cracking sound. But I do understand how bigger books are a little bit harder to have that sewn binding, like all the way through the top and bottom. Just listen to hear if it cracks again. Now it doesn't crack, so that's probably the last page. Some of you probably want to see how that looks. So right here, looks like there's little sections of the book. I do like that this goes up, so it just bends up a little bit better, so the spine doesn't crack. So if I go here, and then I go over here, it just adjusts a little bit better. So there's a little bit of cracking, okay? So when we go back, oh, we hear that cracking sound again. Hear that? So there's a little bit cracking. It's a binding issue. Okay, and then we're here coming towards the last, and then here's Kevin O'Neill's gallery over here. We're going to take a look at the artwork in the gallery. Okay, there. And again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it. If you landed on my channel looking at this artist edition and you enjoy my videos, please hit that subscribe button so you can subscribe to my channel. Also hit the notification bell, the little bell that's right next to it. So anytime I upload a video, you get a notification. Once in a while, I'll also do live videos. So if you're subscribed to my channel and you click the notification button, you can join me on the live video streaming and then ask me questions and talk about art and everything like that. Usually I try my best to answer everyone's comments, and then if you're on the live feed, I'll also talk to you and respond to everyone's questions as most as I can. I don't think I've ever, there's some more pages in the back. I don't think I ever not answer anyone's questions. So feel free to comment down below if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and share the video as much as you can. The more people that sees it, the better it is for my channel, and it helps support me in making more videos like this for you. So check out some of my other videos. Just click on my name, Walden Wong Art, and there click on videos so you can see all the other videos that I've done, and also click on live, the live channel. If you click live, there's live videos of me doing live video streaming, and I'm also doing a new thing which I'm calling podcast. Podcast isn't where I'm reviewing artwork or talking about artwork. I'm actually talking my journey as becoming a comic book artist and so forth along the way, like who I met and who I've spoken to and so forth. You hear that cracking? Yeah, and that's the back. I do like how this looks. And there you go. That is the Graffiti Designs Kevin O'Neill's Gallery Edition. Okay, and here's the front cover one more time. Leave it short, ladies and gentlemen. Bring this in closer. Okay, bring it in closer, and then we have spot finish on the side over here. A little bit of spot over here. We have the spine. And when I got this, there's no real barcode. They actually sent it to me in this box right here. It was busted right over here, but then it protected the artwork. This is kind of crushed, but that's okay as long as the artwork over here is not crushed. Okay, and if you cover this up, that is where you get the, let me close this up. So it was shipped to me in this box, and then all of this was in another box. Here's the back of the box, really nothing going on there. You can actually use this for storage. And then here is the sticker that has that barcode. If you're looking for one yourself, here's a barcode. There you go. Thank you for watching. Have a good time and see you next time. Bye.